Boruto has a karma problem and he's gonna have to solve it quickly, or else he will get the worst outcome possible for the future of this series. Ever since the start of Two Blue Vortex, Boruto has been fighting non-stop. However, the biggest takeaway is the fact that he is not using his karma seal at all. At the end of Boruto Part 1, Boruto was turned into a pure Otsutsuki thanks to Momoshiki reviving him, and even though he has spent the past 3 years training with Sasuke and Kashin Koji in order to get more powerful, one thing is clear: he cannot control the karma seal on his body. It's odd that we are seeing this, considering that in the opening scene of this series, we see Boruto activate the karma in order to fight Kawaki in a destroyed Hidden Leaf village, meaning that eventually Boruto will overcome the fear of using his karma seal. In today's video, I wanted to discuss the potential options Boruto can go through in order to master his karma without fear of Momoshiki taking over his body. As we've seen in chapter 9 when Boruto was fighting Kawaki, Boruto ran from the battlefield when his karma awakened, due to the resonance of Kawaki's karma seal appearing. Boruto's goal was to stop Kawaki and force him to unseal Naruto. However, in order for him to beat Kawaki, he has no other choice but to stop Momoshiki anytime Boruto wants to use his karma seal. With Boruto facing off with Hidari next chapter, and potentially the rest of the Shinju as well as future opponents that will be introduced, I highly doubt it's sustainable for him to keep fighting in his base form, despite all of the insane powers that he learned during the time skip. Boruto is at risk with Momoshiki taking over his body, and if Momo takes over this version of him, let's just consider it the end of the Leaf Village. I asked you guys on Twitter about Boruto mastering his karma, and I got some responses that I think can happen given the circumstances in the story. Kashin Koji coming back in Two Blue Vortex is something that not many people have been talking about. The last time we saw him, he was able to kill Jigen and lure out Ishiki when he was promptly destroyed. However, he escaped from the battlefield. This happened during chapter 48 in part 1. It has been a very long time since we have last seen him, but since the start of TBV, Koji has been aiding Boruto when it comes to taking down the Shinju. When the Ten Tails evolved, Koji was the one who was reminding Boruto that they must take down these sentient beings or else the world will be doomed, as well as helping Boruto by using toads to communicate information and by leaving markers for Boruto to use the Flying Thunder God technique in order to teleport to specific locations. According to the Boruto database on the Naruto official website, it states that Kashin Koji was the one who helped Boruto learn the jutsu. However, compared to his grandfather Minato, Boruto's Flying Thunder God jutsu has more limitations to it, such as with Koji using toads in order to place markers to help Boruto teleport too. Now you may be asking, what does that have to do with Boruto's karma? Well, amongst the characters within the series, there's only a few characters that have the knowledge and power in order to help out Boruto when it comes to solving this dilemma. Kashin Koji is a perfect mentor for Boruto, as he has some of the most experience dealing with the karma seal thanks to his former affiliation with the Kara organization. In part 1, Koji was tasked with retrieving Kawaki, who escaped from Kara's grasp, and has a deep understanding of how the karma seal was brought onto him. When Boruto awakened his karma for the first time, Koji recognized it and backed off from killing him in order to study how and why the karma worked. This is how he was able to beat Jigen later in part 1, by discovering the limitations the karma does have, which ultimately saved the world from Ishiki resurrecting with unlimited life force. Anyways, now that Koji is watching over Boruto 3 years later, he is able to monitor and study Boruto's movements and keep him in check in the scenario that he loses control over his own body. When the Shinju were first introduced in TBV, where they were jumping Boruto at once, Koji warned Boruto to get out of there or else he would die and lose his goal of stopping Kawaki and saving Konoha. While I doubt Kashin Koji could just magically stop Momoshiki from appearing when Boruto uses his karma, he has clearly placed restraints onto Boruto to mitigate the scenario from ever happening. From learning Flying Thunder God jutsu to mastering more realistic ninjutsu techniques, this reduces Boruto from continuously spamming chakra and getting exhausted quickly, which would backfire for the both of them if they want to stop Momoshiki from appearing. And from the looks of it, this is a long-term stopgap that will eliminate the chances of a Momo takeover. However, it is only a temporary solution for Boruto's dilemma. Koji and most likely Sasuke as well probably told Boruto to double down on his training when it comes to ninjutsu and disregard his karma altogether, since it only posed as a detriment every time he fought with it, since Momoshiki was starting to appear when Boruto was involved in a major battle like against Boro, Ishiki, and Code. Another possible way of solving this problem would be for Boruto to stop Momoshiki internally. After getting revived by Momoshiki during the Code arc, it was revealed that Momoshiki can no longer resurrect through Boruto Boruto, since Momo used the remaining karma to keep Boruto alive. Despite that, this doesn't eliminate Momoshiki from taking over Boruto's body, as seen later when he freed Kawaki from Shikamaru's Shadow Protection Jutsu. However, due to their DNA physically combining, Boruto and Momoshiki can speak to each other in Boruto's mind, where they can hear each other's thoughts. I think there can be a way for Boruto to take down or suppress Momoshiki's soul, since that still exists inside of Boruto's body. His goal of devouring a chakra fruit does not change, despite not being able to resurrect anymore, and is banking on Boruto to lose the will to live, where Momoshiki can live through Boruto's body forever. Momoshiki was hoping the Omnipotence Jutsu was going to be the entry point for taking back control over Boruto's body. However, Boruto showed a high amount of resilience when it comes to dealing with this adversity, because he had Sasuke by his side and believed in his own shinobi way to protect the village. Momoshiki failed in this regard, as he did not anticipate Boruto having this much willpower to stay alive and positive with his life being turned upside down. In TBV, Boruto's willpower is stronger than ever, as he completely disregards his Otsutsuki abilities. However, eventually, he will have to face him one way or another. I think it has to do with Momoshiki and Boruto fighting over their souls, since Momoshiki can no longer physically manifest unless he takes over Boruto's body, as well as Boruto being rarely conscious to not use his karma. Boruto has to eliminate Momoshiki from within, and that is sealing Momoshiki's soul away. We have already seen a physical version of this in the Boruto anime, where Urashiki sealed Toneri to the Palace of the Dragon King, which is a frozen time realm where Toneri is preserved alive for the next 10,000 years. A rule in the Otsutsuki clan is that they are not allowed to kill each other, and we have seen certain Otsutsuki members turn on their blood, such as with Kaguya betraying Ishiki since she wanted the chakra fruit for herself. Now, Boruto may not know this rule, but technically he is part of the clan now, and if Momoshiki and Boruto were to fight each other internally per se, Momoshiki may not want to kill Boruto since he is still following the clan rules of harvesting and consuming a chakra fruit, since that is his ultimate end goal after all. Now, this doesn't mean he won't protect himself. However, I think it would be naive for Momoshiki to be still waiting for Boruto to lose his willpower, since Boruto has shown even more resolve in TBV compared to his part 1 self. Momo is a sneaky character, and I suspect that he is scheming another plan for him to take over Boruto's body, since we haven't seen this character yet in TBV. Now, how can we get this internal 1v1? There's some ways that could be done, such as Momoshiki and Boruto mentally fighting to take control over Boruto's body in the scenario Boruto runs low on chakra. But this is where the Jogan can finally be introduced into the manga. Now, I have to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the Jogan, but the anime teased us of its potential ability during the early days of the Academy arc and bits of the Momoshiki fight, but we haven't seen it yet in the manga. Toneri was willing to test out the dojutsu by allowing Boruto to use it for a bit, or eventually he prophesies that the Jogan's use will come in the future. He even says that the Jogan's turn won't be coming for a while, meaning that it's going to be some time before we see it again in action. This was said during the beginning parts of the Boruto anime, and we currently are 3 years into the timeline of the series with Boruto grown up. And if there were any appropriate time to reintroduce the Jogan into the series, it would be now. Obviously, Two Blue Vortex is only 11 chapters in, so we have plenty of time to address Boruto's dojutsu. However, with incoming threats like the Shinju that have overwhelming power that nobody else in the village can defeat, Boruto will have to use as much power as possible in order to save the village and to eventually stop Kawaki. This could also mean Toneri coming back into the story, where he has used the Jogan to communicate briefly with Boruto in the anime. A physical greeting between both characters isn't possible since Toneri was sealed away for 10,000 years. However, communication is still possible if it just requires only the dojutsu and with the fact that Toneri is still alive. And we've seen in the opening scene of the Boruto anime, when Boruto awakened his karma seal against Kawaki, he also activated his Jogan simultaneously, as if he's using the dojutsu to control Momoshiki from within. If Boruto is able to use it to stop Momoshiki, this could be the key for Boruto to use the karma without worry of losing control over his own body. The most important part is that Boruto has to accept this fate of this internal battle in the time skip. We have yet to see Momoshiki or Boruto call his name, indicating that he probably doesn't acknowledge his presence inside of him anymore. But let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section below. How do you feel about these ideas, and tell me, what are some other ways for Boruto to master his karma? So if you liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell as well, and have a good day. Peace.